Hey, guys. We are here from Midtown Comics TV. It's me, Andrew, and Greg. How's it going today?
It's going very well.
Well, we have something fun to talk about. You can see by our Punisher shirts and the Punisher shirts in the background that we're not going to talk about Punisher, or maybe a little bit, but we're going to talk about Daredevil. We are very excited for the new Netflix series, or the new season that starts March 18th, I believe.
Yes.
And Greg actually got to see it a couple weeks early, so we're going to ask him some questions about it, which I'm very excited about. I was a big fan of the first season. I'm sure everyone else was. Now, the first season ends with Kingpin behind bars, Daredevil putting on, the red suit, kind of becoming the hero that the city needs. Can you tell us a bit about how the second season picks up?
Now that Kingpin is behind bars, it's who's ever left fighting to see whoever can claim power now.
Yeah.
If you've watched the trailers, you know Elektra plays a part. And if you've done your homework, you know Elektra has history with the Hand. So maybe they're the ones who would like to step up. And maybe there's another organization or two who are also looking to capitalize on the fact that Kingpin is now gone.
Yeah.
And Daredevil's still doing his whole saving the city thing.
So there's still crime in the city, you're saying?
Yes. Unsurprisingly, Hell's Kitchen still has a little bit of crime in it.
Yeah.
It is based on Frank Miller's Hell's Kitchen.
And now, is there a certain comic that the season followed? Because the first season followed
Frank Miller and John Romita Jr.'s
Yeah.
Man Without Fear. That's if you haven't read that, go read it. I think you'll see where a lot of the inspiration from season 1 came from, as well as Frank Miller's and Klaus Jansson's run with the Daredevil ongoing. Yeah, so far I've seen some inspiration from a Daredevil comic called Born Again. That's with the Batman Year One creative team. That's Frank Miller and Dave Mazzucchelli. It's a very good comic. It's often called one of the must-read Daredevil comics, if not the must-read Daredevil comic, so definitely check it out.
Definitely. And now, is Matt Murdock a little happier this season, or is he still a little upset? Are things still going a little south for him? He has a girlfriend now, right? Or not? Is he with Karen? Are they not together?
The trailers show that they are getting a little closer,
Okay.
but Karen, if you've watched the first season, she dealt with some pretty traumatizing stuff.
Yeah.
So she isn't just moving forward carefree and happy. She still has some stuff that she has to deal with, and it is not a drama-free environment.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And now, how about Foggy? How's he doing?
He's doing well.
Yeah?
He's still a good source of comedy in the show. And based on what I've seen so far, I was up until 3 o'clock watching the first 7 episodes, which is all I have access to right now. He has a chance to step up as well. While Matt's out, doing his Daredevil thing, Foggy shows that he's also a very talented lawyer.
Now, let's talk about the one character that everyone's talking about from this season, is the Punisher.
I thought you were going to say Stiltman.
Does Stillman make an appearance?
His armor is still spotted.
Okay.
Whether or not anyone steps into that armor, we'll just have to wait and see. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. John Bernthal as Frank Castle, a.k.a. the Punisher. He's awesome as it. When you think of Punisher, you think of a guy who's very driven by his anger. He's very tough, and John Bernthal portrays those qualities perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, there's this just dead look in his eyes where you can tell he just took all of his hate and his anger and he's just directing it towards whoever is unfortunate enough to be in his sights. He's definitely badass in it, and not only does he pull off the Punisher that you want to see, but he also gets some chance to have some very emotional scenes, and he sells those very well.
Nice. Now, have you seen him with the classic Punisher skull logo yet, or has that not
Spoilers,
happened?
man.
All right. I'm just curious. I know it took the whole season for Daredevil to turn red, to get the red costume. I'm just curious about.
I think that seems to be a pattern in the show where they take a whole season of characters stepping into a look or the version you've come to expect.
Yeah. So let's talk about Elektra. How's this character differ from the comics, or is it pretty similar character?
So far, if you've read the comics, they're definitely pulling a lot of inspiration from her origin story, but her personality, I don't really think it's a spoiler to say they're handling her a little differently.
Yeah.
She's more playful, more light-hearted, I guess you could say, which I understand because it's a very serious show.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice to have this dynamic where Matt's always so serious about saving the city and everything, which Hell's Kitchen is a neighborhood, not a city, but whatever. So yeah, to see a little more of a playful personality there, it's interesting, but it may not be what some people expect. But I've, again, only seen 7 episodes. There's still more to come from the character. It's very possible that's just an act. So we'll see. We'll see.
And now Jessica Jones, another hugely popular series on Netflix, another Marvel series on Netflix, came out over the summer. Are we going to see any crossovers? They're in Hell's Kitchen. They're in the same neighborhood, right? So are we going to see Luke Cage make an appearance? Are we going to see Jessica Jones? Are we going to see any of these people show up?
I think you could probably expect at least a reference. I may have already seen a reference.
Whoa!
It's really not a big deal. I imagine as the season gets closer and closer to its conclusion, that's when they'll start to lay on more Easter eggs. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some teasers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. So now fans looking to read something, there's still a couple of weeks leading up to the series. I know you got to see it early, but the fans haven't had a chance yet. What should they read? What are some books that they should read leading up to this series?
The recent Elektra volume. It's technically her third volume, I believe. It's written by Hayden Blackman, and it's illustrated by a brilliant artist, Michael Del Mundo. It's very new reader friendly. The artwork is phenomenal, and it's a great story. It's really character driven, and it's insightful while also delivering just a bunch of ridiculous fun. I mean, like, she teams up with a dragon to fight the Hand at one point. The overall plot line sounds very familiar, but the way it's executed is very creative and very, very fun. If you enjoyed season 1, you absolutely have to read, Daredevil, The Man Without Fear. By Frank Miller and John Romita Jr., you will see Daredevil step into the black suit. You will see where season 1 pulled a lot of its inspiration.
Nice.
If you're excited for Frank Castle in the show, which you should be, by the way, Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon, and Jimmy Palmiotti, Welcome Back Frank, is a must-read. If you've paid attention to Daredevil Season 2's marketing, you've probably seen Daredevil in Chains. It comes straight from that comic, and that episode in the show is great, by the way. And in my opinion, there's a fight scene that tops the hallway fight.
No way.
Yes way.
Wow.
Yes way. It's great. And also Daredevil, Born Again, as we previously discussed, by Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli. I don't really want to spoil anything in there. It involves Karen Page. And if you watch Jessica Jones, you may recognize a little guy named Frank Simpson. He makes his debut in this comic as a nuke. And absolutely mandatory reading, Frank Miller and Klaus Jansson's Daredevil run.
Yeah,
I mean,
classic.
It's great. This is where Elektra's introduced. A lot of great stories with Bullseye, Kingpin, Gladiator. It's just, I mean, it's must read.
Yeah.
You have to read it.
Well, that's it. Greg says it's mandatory reading. I say it's mandatory watching. Hopefully you guys check it out. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video, and looking forward to it. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Check out all of our videos, all of our sneak peeks. We got some other cool stuff coming up, so stay tuned. Thanks, guys.